Continuing where I left off from this morning. Yeah, I know you're probably thinking, wait, your video looks kind of different. Where you're like, wait, what's the delay in the last video? Well, it's been 12 hours because I had to leave because I was going to Comic Con, and I will discuss that in my following video. All right, this one I'm basically going to review the second trailer. I was going to review in the first video I did today, but I had to stop because I was going to leave at that point. All right, now I'm going to discuss here the Batman's Grave. This, of course, is the complete collection of all 12 issues. I thought this was quite strange, though. Like, you have a complete collection, even though this series just wrapped up. Well, I think it was a while ago, I think this was. Yes, it's only 12 issues. It's written by, get this, Warren Ellis and artwork by Brian Hitch. I mean, the book just wrapped up just last year, I think it was. Yeah, it contains all 12 issues of this one. Now, in this maxi series, this is kind of in a way an Elseworld story, or at least non-canon story per se, because at the time when this thing came out, there's one character who appears in it who in the regular continuity is dead, and that's Alfred. He's been dead at this point for over a year. My guess is that, and this is just my theory, I think DC was planning to release this a little bit earlier, but it was delayed for some reason. This is basically kind of like a Batman crime story. Aside from featuring Batman Alfred, who is in this series, is like any other, like, the way it's done per se, you have these little texting here. It's done very similar to how Warren Ellis was doing the Wildstorm books, the two Wildstorm series. One is basically Wildstorm Rising, the other is Wildstorm Michael Cray. It's very similar to that, and of course Warren Ellis does both. Yeah, it was part of DC's plan to revive the Wildstorm imprint, which, aside from having the 24-issue maxi series, for the main book and the Michael Cray spin-off book, nothing else much has been done with it. This is in the same matter, just basically, I guess DC must have liked what Warren Ellis did with Wildstorm, give it to Batman. Yeah, here he's just trying to find his own depth about this whole series. And he's, of course, investigating a series of murders. Also got a really cool shot in the Batcave. Thank you, Brian Hitch. Yep. Now here's a kind of a look at Batman's costume here. Now, look at this costume. Like, okay, did any point in Batman in the last decade wear this costume? You could say it's sort of a variant on the Jim Lee costume, because no black underwear. That's possible. But you might ask, where's the place of this thing? I have honestly no idea. And here's a question, aside from, like I said, aside from Batman and Alfred, is there like any other character from any of the Bat books who shows up in this thing? You really want to answer that? The answer is, I don't think so. I'm looking through it right now. I don't think we have an appearance by anybody outside Batman and Alfred. Well, yeah, appearance by Jim Gordon. Yep. And look, Arkham Asylum in issue 5. And you're like, Warden Arkham. And then we have camp appearances by, get this. We have, I don't know if this is supposed to be actually, we apparently, what looks like to be this weird guy. You could say, now is this guy Calendar Man? No. Honestly, I don't know who the heck this is. Because it seems like this is probably supposed to be Arkham Asylum. Clearly by the entrance, which is really good here. I love the way this looks here. Brian Hitch does a great job with this. Well, aside from the fact that you have Jim Gordon here, and Jeremy Arkham, who looks much older than he does regularly, here's the slight problem with this series. Now you have Arkham Asylum here, and you're reading through this like, wait, if this is supposed to be Arkham Asylum, where are the Batman villains? Yeah, seriously, where the heck are they? Yeah, this weird guy named Scorn Army. That's seriously what this guy is called. Is this guy with his weird haircut? I'm like, what the heck? Seriously? Also, why the heck are the inmates running asylum at Arkham? It makes no freaking sense. Yeah, basically a bunch of random thugs. Yeah. I gotta admit, it's a well-written series. I at least gotta hand it to Brian Hitch for that. But aside from the three familiar characters, Batman, Alfred, and Jim Gordon, you get practically nobody here that's familiar. No, seriously, there's like nobody. Now, could this be set in any continuity? Well, based on the way Warden Arkham looks, he kind of looks like Warden Sharp from the Batman Arkham video games. He kind of does. Basically, it's the same design. Make sure we're getting here, like. I mean, just by his appearance, so you could easily be mistaken for Warden Sharp, or here's something for you. Here's something, I almost kind of forgot to consider. He also kind of looks like Commissioner Gordon from the 60s Batman series. Yes. Yeah, and here's something really strange for Batman to do. He decides to, at the end of issue number 8, take over Arkham Asylum. He's a new warden of the place. Yes, a warden. Which sounds a lot like stuff from the Batman Arkham games. Because Arkham Asylum is run by a doctor, not a warden. Yeah, I have no idea why the heck Brian Hitch, so this is a good idea. Not Brian Hitch, Warren also has a good idea. Basically, you could just say this is a day in Batman's life. I mean, the whole thing takes place in a period of about, I'd say, it could be a year. Mm-hmm. Yes. It's all about Batman running his own death. That's mainly just this series. It's good, definitely. It's not terrible. It just seems as though we don't have a really overarching story stretching on for 12 issues. You could kind of say that basically this is basically just a you could just say this is just Warren Ellis just including Batman in a story probably meant for maybe the Wildstorm universe. It's possible you could say this is part of the Wildstorm stuff that he was doing because it doesn't feel like Batman much. Aside from the fact you have the cool Batman gear, Batman himself, and the familiar faces of Jim Gordon and Alfred Pennyworth, there's nobody else here. No Batman villains, nobody. And you have Arkham Asylum, a familiar location. Which anybody who has read Batman comics or seen any of the live-action movies or the animated series or the video games know this place is a home to the Batman villains. And you read this book and nobody's there who is a Batman villain. It looks like a regular mental asylum. Which I'm thinking, really? Why the heck would Brian Hitch and why would Brian Hitch and Warren Ellis do this? If I could change my ear, I'm gonna ask them that question. Like, why did you make Arkham Asylum in the series The Batman's Grave look like any regular old mental asylum that you see basically like on TV or whatever? It looks really bad. Like how about the glass wall thing? for the cells. That reminds me a lot of the Arkham Asylum video game. That's what kind of reminds me of for that. But aside from that, it's a pretty decent series. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, so that's it for Single View. Next one is my haul. Okay, next video. Bye.